I've spent the past 8 years freelancing, so you don't have to. Now, is that some pessimistic statement? No. I spent the past 8 years as a freelance video editor. Here's what happened. This is going to be my raw, honest takeaway from someone who's just been in the game for a long-ass time. Like, when I tell you I'm 26, I feel like I'm goddamn 59 right now because of all the things I've seen in the freelance game. I was around when freelance websites actually were a viable way to make a full-time living. Now, they're obviously a desolate wasteland that is quite literally not something you can make any money from. But if you don't know me, my name's Jack Cole. I've made hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars as a freelance video editor online. I have been a videographer as well. I've been a freelance videographer. I live in London. I filmed some of the biggest artists in the world: Future, Tyga, Lil Yachty, ASAP Ferg, Nelly, Fat Joe, loads of big nightclubs. I used to be a nightclub videographer, shot a bunch of music videos as well. Those were not for big rappers, very small rappers. In fact, I have coached hundreds and hundreds of video editors in my private community and built many video editors and scaled many video editors from lower incomes to very significant incomes, and also just love making videos. I've been making videos forever. I'm a YouTuber, blah, blah, blah. Cool. So that's a little bit on me if you didn't know about me. Let's go ahead and talk about my experience in the freelance career. Before that, I'll probably go ahead and think, the reality of the situation is a lot of people talk about freelancing online. Some people shit on it online, right? Now, it's been very good to me, but it did take a long time. And that's why a lot of the stuff on this channel I'll preach is like, focusing on just the journey ahead. It's going to be tough. The game gets greater later, right? A lot of your growth might come on the back end. It might take you a second to warm up, right? But other people usually say freelancing is, a heavy outreach game. The common belief is video editing is about, chasing short-term gigs, low-paying jobs, blah, blah, blah. My thing, even since back in the day, was no, project hopping doesn't have to be the case. You don't have to be some struggle artist who is coming along and just getting a job, and then the job churns and you look for the next one, or you complete a project, you move on to the next. It's kind of why I stopped doing videography. Because in the freelance video editing game, I could land long-term recurring clients. I could team up with a YouTuber who needed 3 videos a week, every week, forever, and I'd have a great moneymaker there. Those were my moneymakers. Videography, on the other hand, even a big nightclub like the big ones, they were only having a big artist once a month because it costs a shitload of money. So if you're booking a Future and you're giving them, $80K or, $60K or whatever, you're probably not doing that every single week. It's quite the event. Maybe you live in like Miami or I don't know, somewhere like that. I mean, London's like a Miami-esque kind of place, not the weather-wise, but like in terms of like the money. And even here, they're not doing it every single night, right? So my thing always was I need long-term recurring clients. It's why I eventually stopped doing videography because the novelty wore off. I'd done 50 plus nightclubs. I'd seen it all. I'd seen all the big artists. I'd chatted to them. Blah, blah, blah. It was just like, I need some goddamn big money now, baby. I don't need just one-off gigs, right? And I also focused on building out MSI, multiple sources of income. Multiple sources of income for me was, I was doing freelance video editing. I was doing freelance videography. I was also doing, like product reviews. People would send me product reviews because I was a creator. They'd send me the product. I'd be selling the product on Facebook Marketplace, doing reviews, pocketing affiliate money, building out my YouTube channel because I knew that was going to pay dividends down the road. Eventually, I scaled into not just affiliate income, not just sponsorships, but also building out my own info product, my own course, my own community, which I'm proud to say has now helped, hundreds and hundreds of video editors, essentially the next generation. I wish I had Video Production Plus when I was 18. There was really nothing like that, to be honest. We didn't even have Hustlers University. Oh no, fucking goddamn. It was such a different time than now, right? But we've been talking for a little bit. And I do want to say that this video probably isn't for everybody. If you don't want to actually put significant work in and eventually build a career, then quit this, go get a 9-to-5 job. The reason I say that is because my core catchphrase that I still haven't made merch around yet because I'm just really slow with a lot of very mundane tasks that should be done but I don't get around to. The reason I haven't made merch out of the game gets greater later yet is because I'm just slow. But that really is my kind of catchphrase, my kind of slogan, because that's the game that I lived. That's the reality I lived in the freelance game, is that it got greater later. It was tough in the early days, right? That's me running up and down the country hustling nonstop when I was 18, 19, right? And I was only probably making around $3,000 a month there. It took me a little while to build up to significant income where, we were touching a nice check, right? It takes a second, right? That's why the freelance game for a lot of you guys might actually not even be the thing to get into, just based on the fact that you don't have the stamina to actually make it. Now, if you are still watching and you haven't turned off the video, then you probably are one of the people with the stamina. which is fantastic, right? So the secret to scaling video editing properly is perceived value. It's not, I was never the best editor. I'll be straight up honest with you. If I had to put numbers to it, I'd tell you I was probably a 7 out of 10 video editor. I'll tell you I was probably a 6 out of 10 videographer. But I've made hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars as a video editor. I've filmed some of the biggest artists and in the most high-profile venues in the entire country as a 6 out of 10 videographer. So that means that the actual exact skill you have isn't the core, like, main takeaway. It's perceived value. I was always very good at building my perceived value because I would always make content forever. I'm a lifelong content creator. If you know my story as well, I started as a gamer, blew up a gaming channel when I was 16 to 85,000 subscribers, had millions and millions and millions of views. Went to Eurogamer when I was 16, met up with all these massive YouTubers, and I was friends with them all, and eventually burnt out from the gaming stuff, went and partied like crazy, blew up my whole channel, came back, restarted the channel, doing freelancing, grinding the freelance career, and blew it up again. So that's been my kind of YouTube side. Now, I've always been making content, so I've always raised my perceived value. My Instagram profile was just basically a documentary of my career. Anytime I went to create a project, I'd be taking pictures, videos, fucking goddamn from the left, from the right, from the top, POV shots, everything. So I just had so much content coming out that I was positioning myself as an expert. It was kind of just obvious Jack Cole's a video creator. He's doing a bunch of video content. And ultimately, my perceived value was higher because I had this page. I was building this personal brand. So if you wanted to work with someone who I'd tell you was better, right? In my town back in the day, before I moved to London, I lived in a little town called Totnes, Devon, and there was about 10,000, 15,000 people in there and in the local area, right? I was one of probably 4 or 5 videographers in that town, right? Because it's a small town. I was the worst one, but I got all the work. The reason was because I had the personal brand, so everybody knew Jack Cole's the video guy. Jack Cole's the video guy. When I came to London, people wouldn't even recommend me based on my portfolio. They'd say, yo, Jack's got a big YouTube channel. He's the guy for the job. People would be like, oh, wow, how many subs does he have, right? They wouldn't say, can I see his portfolio? Can I see this? Can I see that? So that's perceived value. Building perceived value. Perceived value means that you have systems working for you out there that make people see you as a 10. I told you I was a 7 out of 10 video editor. I was a 6 out of 10 videographer. People saw me as an 11. They saw me as a 10. The perceived value is so high. So finding ways to increase your perceived value is just a net positive across the board. That also resulted in inbound leads, right? Inbound leads are fantastic because they've already sold themselves. When someone hits me with a DM and says, Jack, yo, what's up? We saw your profile or X and X, so-and-so told us about you. Do you have availability for a project? They've already sold themselves. They've already qualified themselves. They've already seen you and they've kind of, sold themselves that you're the person for the job. And there's no like sleazy sales process of, hey, yo, would you like to jump on a call? And maybe this is for you, maybe it's not. Well, what other services have you tried? Blah, blah, blah. Stick the pain. So inbound leads were easier to close for me because they'd already warmed themselves up so much. So it's like, again, tedious outreach, heavy, intense outreach as a conversion mechanism was never the game I played, right? When I was on Upwork in the first year of freelancing, yeah, sure, I was doing heavy outreach, right? I don't know how heavy it is, but I was doing 30 outreaches every single day, Monday to Friday, without fail. So 600 a month, right? And I never hit the full 600 because I'd land clients. It was really till I started landing clients and got busy, then I'd kind of slow it down. But Upwork was a different game back in the day. But yeah, the inbound lead strategy is one of my kind of core teachings, right? Is the idea that you really should be trying to build systems to bring inbound leads to you. And it's one of the core philosophies of our Blue Path system in Video Production Plus, where we blow you up a personal brand, and then that attracts clients to you. You close the clients in the DM, and then you're on the high ground, right? Let's go ahead and break this down. Freelance video editing eventually becomes draining. You can only go so far trading your time for money until you hit a ceiling. And I know what you're thinking. Hold on, Jack. Whoa, you made this sound so fun, right? You were only a 6 out of 10 videographer, and you were crushing it. I want to crush it too. Yes, I was a 6 out of 10 videographer. Yes, I was crushing it. But eventually I hit a ceiling, and the ceiling was I couldn't really make infinite money. I realized, what? My earning potential is capped because I have a cap on my time right now. And ultimately, I realized, okay, well, what does that mean? Probably means I need to expand. Probably means I need to build a team so that things are happening when I'm not sat at the desk. I can be the kind of visionary mind behind the project and kind of where we're going and then, the direction of things. But I need to start to outsource certain parts I need to find someone who's a fair price so I can also pocket some of the profit as well. And that'll enable me to take on larger deals, more deals, and to fulfill like a larger service as well. There would be other aspects to my service in future years. That might be script writing as well. That might be all the thumbnails. That might be all the posting, which I needed a VA for. All of the little nitty gritties that come kind of along with that. So I realized, and I think this is definitely something a lot of you guys will realize as well eventually, is you will exhaust your time. Eventually, once you've hit your time limit, then you say, okay, well, do I want to quit? No, of course not, because you know this industry very well. So where are you going to pivot to? You probably pivot into team, into agency. Agency is a word that confuses people. Whoa, I don't need a HR department. I don't have a big fancy office. I don't have a this. I don't have a that. Blah, blah, blah. I don't know how to lead a team, but an agency starts with you and one other person, right? Like literally you and one single other person. That person is as good, if not better than you as a creative. So you maintain quality standards and now you've duplicated your day, right? So that right there is kind of the beautiful part about it, is that is the solve for the problem of I've hit a wall, I've exhausted all my time. And that was something that happened to me 5 years in. So I had a good run, right? Blew up the YouTube channel off the back of my freelance career, doing all the vlogs of me in the field filming and all that kind of stuff. Made hundreds of thousands of dollars as a freelancer, right? Just straight up grinding. Made good money as a videographer, but mainly touched a lot of really big projects in that time as well. 18 to 23. By 23, I'm like, oh my goodness, bro. I don't know if I can work every single day, just me doing every single project now, okay? Some of the bigger projects you're more motivated by because you're like, okay, well, that is like a good amount of money. I would like to kind of do that. How quick can I do it to get that money? Oh, I could do it in 2 weeks. Okay, But ultimately, I then started building a team. And that team enabled me to do bigger deals. And then I started making a lot more money because I could just simply close larger retainers. And again, perceived value, because I'd built up my YouTube channel, because I'd built up my personal brand, I could get on calls and I could be an impressive person to clients because they would think, you know what? Wow, okay, yeah, he's making a good case. He's done it for himself. He could do it for us. So that's the practitioner versus theorist philosophy. You're not just a theorist. You're not just a aerospace engineer. You're Elon motherfucking Musk, the guy with the personal brand. Who would you want to hire? The kid fresh out of college who's the aerospace engineer, or Elon Musk, the personal brand guy, And that right there was kind of the direction that we took it in, right? Now, in this day and age, I have focused on building a path called the Blue Path inside Video Production Plus, and that tries to increase your perceived value. It's increased a lot of our students' perceived value so well that they've landed, massive streamers like Clicks and Jinxie, huge YouTubers like Cheap Pickle, Alex Costa, 20 million subscriber Minecraft kid channels that I can't even remember the name of, because they've increased their perceived value through social media. And if you join VP Plus, it's actually a major stepping stone for you. We'll get you a following. We'll blow you up a personal brand. All the systems are already built out. It's worked for, all of our students so far, many of our students so far. I can't say all of our students so far because there is a really unfortunate reality. You do have to still put a shitload of work in, right? That always blindsides people. Oh no, I actually have to do loads and loads and loads of work, and then, it's merit-based, so I get back what I put in. No! The fucking camera pans up. If you were to join VP Plus, just to wrap this off, we can get you results, but you would have to put a shitload of work in, and I wouldn't recommend joining unless you do have video editing skills, or else you'd spend too long learning the skills. But ultimately, that was today's video, a bit of a rant on 8 years in the freelance game. The game does get greater later. The initial steps will take a bit longer. Eventually things snowball and you close bigger deals. 5-6 years in, one single retainer would pay more than all of the clients I was working with in the kind of younger years, which is hilarious and laughable and just, proof again that the game does get greater later. So with that being said, we're going to wrap up the video. You will be probably scaling out of just being a freelancer. For me, it was agency, personal brand, digital products, content career, even creative strategist on some sides. I want you guys to go ahead and tell me in the comments if you like this video. I'll also give 3 discount codes to VP Plus. We'll go ahead and use the discount code HONEST. 3 discount codes. Get them now. Click this video. I'm going to jump off the screen in 3, 2, 1. Enjoy the next video and hopefully see you in VP.